I am you,
You and me,
and we.
whenever here.
Hey Woke Media family, at our online store you can now purchase organic raw sea moss and organic moringa powder. Yes, the same sea moss Dr. Sebi said we needed for a mucus-free diet every day. Support Woke Media and come visit.
Yep, what's good? Is that Chaos being Cypher here with another share. Now, special thank you to all our viewers, to all our subscribers, and to everyone who takes the time out to like, to comment, and to share our material. An extra special thank you to you. Do remember to subscribe because this is a brand new YouTube, even though you still see a lot of the woke media memorabilia attached to it. It's a brand new channel. Our last channel was copyright strike, and this is a new channel with all new information. Do remember to subscribe and put on the notification bell so that you can be updated every time we upload, because it's about to be a flood. We about to get back to what we like doing best. All right, now this particular video is going to be about that very big question of who are you. This one particular question, even though it's very simple and it seems like something very frivolous and foolish for me to be asking persons on this particular channel, the answer to this question is the answer and the key to all occult sciences. Is the key that's going to take all your problems away from you. Is the one answer that can relieve you of all stress without the need of anyone and without the need of any form of money or anything like that. This question, who are you? How do you identify yourself? Where does your consciousness come from as in relations to a fulcrum? Like, what is your fulcrum of perspective? Are you a man? Are you a woman? Do you see yourself as being a particular persona? The persona that persons would have given you at birth, the way that persons know you at work? Like, who are you really? To your core self, when you sit with yourself and you come from your fulcrum to make a decision to do something or a decision to respond in a particular way, who are you at that particular point? And who are you right now as you're listening to this video? Who do you see yourself as? Who are you? You gotta first forget all the so-called perspectives that persons would have given you. You gotta forget all the information that persons would have fed you before to tell you about different perspectives of what they are and who you should be, and ask yourself the real question: who are you? Are you a god? Are you a human being? Are you a chaos being? And what is your perspective? And then what is your response? Because remember, the response is key. Epigenetics, right? Your response dictates so much, if not everything, as far as this so-called third dimensional mundane life goes. So who are you? Who are you? Are you a 25-year-old father of three? Are you a 30-year-old mother of one? Like, who are you? Where is your perspective, and where do you see your fulcrum when you define yourself? Are you a chaos being, and what does that mean? What does that entail? You see what I'm saying? Are you a god, and what does that entail? How do you respond from the perspective of being a god when everyday situations confront you? Are you a human being? And if so, how do you respond as a human being when everyday responses to situations are called for? How do you respond? Are you chaos in the flesh? And how does chaos in the flesh respond to any given situation? How do you respond? Or do you waver between all three of these, not really knowing how you should respond in any one time because your focus is just all over the place? Who are you? Really and truly contemplate on that question. Who are you? Because beyond the body, you still exist. And the answer to this question comes with a little bit of meditation. It actually comes with a lot of meditation, depending on the level of understanding that you're presently at. But who are you? How do you see yourself? How do you define what you say? When you say, I don't feel like it, I am going out, I am this, I am that. Who is this I? And why do you define yourself from that perspective as that particular I in that particular situation? How do you see yourself? Is it swayed in accordance to your understanding of the occult sciences? Do you have a real definition of self? Have you done the relevant shadow work, the relevant study in these occult sciences? I mean, the books are all over the place. The books are in the description that you can study and take your perspective of self from where you're at to anywhere that you would like to take it. But right now, you need to ask yourself this very powerful, eminent question. Who are you? Because in meditation, and when you get into deep meditation and you're trying to really get into the Cave of Wonders, when I say the Cave of Wonders, I'm not talking about no Aladdin shit. You're not about to crawl up in that shit and see no diamonds and gold and all of that shit. Maybe you might, if that's a perspective that you keep in your mind. But then when I refer to the Cave of Wonders, I'm talking about going into the darkness, going into yourself and using that first eye. Using your first eye to define self. Using your first eye to define your situation that you might presently be needing information on or needing a response to. Who are you at that particular point? What do you look like? Do you have a particular response to everything? Because if you're defining yourself from a persona, then you're going to have a particular response every time. Because remember, a persona is repetition. A persona is a particular pattern of behavior. So if you are defining yourself with a personage, you're going to have a particular way that you respond. And think about this. While you have a particular way that you respond, everything is forever changing. So how good is that particular response or how useful is that particular response if that particular response is made more than once or 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times in repetition? The fact that everything is constantly changing, right? And if you're a god, remember, God, entities, deities, powers, orisha, spirits, demons, ghosts, all of those things are nothing but thought forms. Whether they exist within a particular flesh body or without a so-called flesh body is the difference in a lot of the definitions. And a lot of the definitions are really speaking about the same thing, but only in different cultures and from different perspectives of self, these definitions were made. So that's why there's so many words and so many definitions for the same thing. But who are you? Where are you coming from in your perspective of self? Are you chaos in the flesh? Does chaos in the flesh have problems? Does chaos in the flesh argue with people over anything? Chaos in the flesh doesn't need to argue with a person over nothing really. If you think about it, chaos in the flesh should have no real problems. Chaos in the flesh should not know what a problem is, because what is a problem? A problem is something that is going opposite in an opposite direction than you would like it to go at that present moment. So then, that being the case, how can you then be chaos if you have a particular pattern of things or a particular pattern that you like to see repeated, and you would rather desire to have things in a particular way? Who are you really? Are you really chaos in the flesh if you have desire for something to be one particular way and not the other? If we really contemplate on this very, very paramount question, who are you? Like, the shit is so simple, but then it is so revealing when you start to contemplate on it. You might even realize that you might not be who you think you are. You might not be operating from that particular facet. Because you might define yourself as chaos in the flesh, but then you might be acting like a Joe Schmo down the street. When situations really confront you, and you gotta move beyond the perspective of the flesh, you might not be acting like chaos in the flesh at that point. You might be acting like just flesh. Or you might be acting like a god. You have certain parameters within which you operate. That's just a deific mask for the chaos. But where is your monad coming from? Who are you? Where is your center point? Remember, your center point could be anywhere. Your center point could be stuck in a lower perspective of self and just going from one lower perspective of self to another level of lower perspective of self. But you're still stuck. So where is your monad? Who are you? And as we keep it on this particular channel, I don't like to keep it too long. I don't like to make the videos too long because I know we have other things that we need to engage on, and everyone needs to do their own individual self-study. But contemplate on this question for a while. Just in your meditations today, just ask yourself, who am I? Who are you? 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 Because remember, the master teacher, the ascended master Cyfha Manel, taught us this meditation. I am that I am, 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 that I am. But what the fuck are you presently? What is your perspective of yourself presently? Because you am that I am, that I am, that I am could be thinking from a human fucking perspective of yourself. Who are you? This is the Chaos Being Cypher here with another share. I'll catch you in the next one.